Out front now, Ірина Верещук, Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister. And Deputy Prime Minister, I really appreciate your time tonight. I want to ask you about this issue with the Ukrainian mayors. You say Russians are holding 11 Ukrainian mayors captive, that they kidnapped them. At least one of them has been killed. Do you know where the rest of the mayors are and whether they're alive?
Yes, this is absolutely true. We know that all of these city mayors, they are in captivity, they are held hostages by Russia, and unfortunately they will not give them back to us. And you probably may remember that at the very beginning of the Russian invasion, we managed to free the city mayor of Melitopol, Ivan Fedorov. And you know, the only reason why he was captured was only because he was a city mayor elected by his community. But unfortunately, so far we have not been able to get in touch or to free any other city mayors, and we don't even know. We think that some of them were killed, and in fact, just yesterday we found out that in Kiev region, the city mayor of Nitizhin was killed.
So it's horrific to imagine that you could have more of them dead and not know, and we may never know. But the mayor that you say was killed, you mentioned there are reports that also her husband and son were killed by Russians as well, that all three of them were killed. Do you know more about that?
What happened was just an absolutely brutal murder, because they were shot in the head with their hands tied up behind their backs, and the wife, the city mayor, was killed, and the head of her son was just torn and was laying around there. And basically that puts us in the situation that we have no choice. We either, together with you, will put them behind the bars, or we'll have to do it ourselves, and we'll find them and we'll kill them, and we'll punish everyone who killed our city mayors, our journalists, our priests, our activists, our volunteers, our civilians.
The Kremlin has responded, Deputy Prime Minister, to these horrific stories, to the horrible pictures that we're getting of dead civilians lying face down on the streets of Bucha and other cities and towns. They've called the whole thing a fake attack. They said it was orchestrated by Ukraine. And they say they have nothing to do with it, that it's just fake. Do you think what we're seeing in Bucha is just the beginning of some of these horrific atrocities committed by the Russians?
Unfortunately, my answer to your question, Erin, is yes. If we do not stop Putin today, together, this is only the beginning of those atrocities that we will reveal later on. Because as we are talking now with you, there are 100,000, even more than 100,000 civilians, women, children, elderly, who are dying in the city of Mariupol at the moment, because there have not been any open humanitarian corridors. And as you know, I'm responsible for the humanitarian corridors, and I say this to you with all authority, that there hasn't been a single day that there was a working humanitarian corridor. People are dying. They're dying of hunger, thirst, severe wounds, airstrikes. Thousands of them are being killed. It is a genocide against the Ukrainian civilians. And Putin, he realized that he cannot stop the Ukrainian army. And that's why he has another tactic. He's torturing and raping Ukrainian civilians, women, and this is what his so-called second army is doing. They're fighting against the civilians, and we seem to be just watching powerless against them.
Deputy Prime Minister Verещuk, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Good night.